Hey everyone, welcome back to Career Path with OA. I'm Omar Abedin, and today we'll cover the period basically the last two quarters of 1999. If you recall from the last video, I had an interesting journey with Reckitt Benckiser Dubai. Interesting in many ways, some positive, some negative. And in '99 we discovered that we were expecting our first child, and at the end of my third year contract, we were going to be heading back to Pakistan. I couldn't handle the stress of continuing to work with that particular individual in the Reckitt Dubai office. So Reckitt Pakistan was very happy to have me back. They offered me a really nice position to rejoin. I came back at a salary of about 35,000 rupees a month, which was, a princely sum compared to what I had left from. Now, before I left, I had the opportunity to meet with Johnson & Johnson, as I mentioned also in the last video, and I had some really good meetings with them, and unfortunately they couldn't make a decision at that point. They were going through a reorganization themselves, and Steve, who was the hiring manager for this role, had told me that he'd be in touch as soon as they knew anything. So my friend Aftab had gone out of his way really to follow up within J&J. He was already working at J&J as a group brand manager looking after the baby portfolio, and they were hiring someone for women's health, oral health, and some miscellaneous stuff. And so off we went. At the end of September, we were heading back towards Karachi, landed in Karachi, got settled back into the new job, and there I met Zubair, who was an assistant brand manager working with me, and he became one of those lifetime friends who become brothers over time. We started working together on the Pest Control defense plan. SC Johnson was making a big play in the pest control category in Pakistan, and so we had to put together a massive strategic plan to try and deal or prepare for their expected arrival. It was extremely intense. We worked on it like crazy for a month and a half. At the end of that period, my daughter was born on Christmas Day of 1999. After a long and difficult labor, she joined us, and then life changed. Started to be much more focused on this new arrival, what it meant for us. Now, while all this was happening, another strange and wonderful thing happened. I got a call from Steve in Johnson & Johnson Dubai, and he said, hey, we've decided to go ahead with you. We're going to be giving you an offer, and give me a fax number that I can that we can fax your offer to. So I gave him the fax number for the Reckitt marketing department, and then I went and stood there nervously waiting for the fax to come through, and then I grabbed it quickly and made sure that all the pages had come through, and then I was astounded to see an offer of 15,000 dirhams a month plus accommodation, and it was for a group brand manager position, looking after what they call the OWS franchise, Oral, Wound, and Sanpro. So the main brands there were Reach toothbrushes, BandAid brand of adhesive bandages, and the entire women's health portfolio of Carefree products. It was amazing. My wife and I talked about it, and we said yes. So they said, great, when can you come back? And I said, look, I'm about to, we're about to have a baby, so can't travel just now. And they said, hey, we are Johnson & Johnson. We are the baby company, so you take your time, and when you're ready, just come and join us. So, just a remarkable way to start. One funny anecdote there was my container of personal items had just arrived from Dubai, and 100 plus boxes, all of them had to be opened because insurance requirements. You have to, if you're going to make any insurance claims for any breakage or damage, you have to do it within a certain number of days of arrival. So they'd taken everything out of the boxes. So we called up the same company the day after they had unboxed us, and they came back. The same team that had unpacked us came back and looked around and said, what is happening? You now want us to put all of these things back in the same boxes? And sure enough, they repacked everything in the same boxes 24 hours later, and everything was shipped off to Dubai, back to the pavilion. And so my daughter was born December 25th, and January 19th I moved back to Dubai with J&J. And J&J's office was in the iconic Dubai World Trade Center building, which was at that time the tallest building in Dubai, and also housed a lot of very prestigious multinational companies, consulates and things like that. So really, really nice office tower. And then I rented a car and drove back to the Reckitt & Coleman office to meet my friends. And they came out into the parking lot. Mike, Jim, Mitri, the whole bunch. And they were like, you will not believe what has happened. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, come on inside. So we go inside, and Ken, the GM, who had who made my life so difficult for the last year and a half, or much more than a year and a half, but especially the last year and a half. Came out and greeted me like I was his long lost friend, brother, I don't know. And I sat down with him in his office. We had a nice talk about nothing much in particular. And then I realized that his whole office was full of boxes, big cartons. So I asked him what happened. And he said, "Oh, you won't believe it. But you know, these bastards called me to Hull over the weekend and basically ended my employment." So what had really happened was that the previous year, Reckitt had merged or had acquired, theoretically, a small European company called Benckiser. And although the ownership of the company went to Reckitt, and the new entity was called Reckitt Benckiser, it was actually a management takeover by the Benckiser team. And they actually fired the top 200 Reckitt managers in the first year. And Ken was part of that massive round of layoffs. So, you know, if I had stuck it out for another 4 months, I would have been able to, you know, watch him depart. But it wasn't to be. And I learned so much from this experience. One of them was that karma is real. Karma is real. And if you treat people like shit, please don't expect to get away with it. Even if those people are unable to do anything to you, the reality is that something will come around. Something will catch up with you. And that's not even a reason. Just don't treat people like shit. It doesn't cost anything to be respectful. It doesn't cost anything to respect people's differences. But you know, it was an amazing experience going back to Reckitt and seeing that so much had changed in the last 4 months alone. So my journey with Johnson & Johnson started this way, with me going back to Karachi. You know what they say, sometimes you have to walk away in order to have you know, what's meant for you. So I had to leave Dubai in order to come back to Dubai. And you know, one of the weird things about Dubai is that however many times I leave, I always end up back here. I'm here now. It's weird. It's just something about Dubai, for me at least. I find it to be a really good mix of East and West. You can live according to your values. No one's going to judge you. You know, if you're fortunate enough to have a decent job, you can live a good life. They're not actively in your face with anything. With, you know, they have their own values, and you know, they steadfastly promote those values, but they don't judge. So anyway, just wanted to leave you with that thought. This was only a 3-month stint in Pakistan, really, 3.5 months. So I'll be back with the next video talking about the new journey with Johnson & Johnson, which took me to back to Dubai, and then from there to Saudi Arabia, and then from there to Canada. So stay tuned, and we'll talk soon. Have a great day. Bye.